It's your girl, Daunessy Shaitaire, back at it again with another. Back at it again. Oh my gosh, I've missed Monday videos. I've missed starting the week with you guys. I've missed 3 weeks of doing Monday videos, and there's a lot of reasons. I started to feel. I'm not gonna lie. We're here to be honest and transparent, right? Amen. Although I've been showing up in other ways for the channel, although I've been showing up other ways for the process. I don't know. Monday night videos, just I stopped showing up for it, and I started to feel discouraged about it. Like I was doing too much, like I was talking too much, like I was posting too much. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Releasing the old belief systems, releasing the stories that we replay, releasing everything that doesn't serve us in that journey that we have to take in order to release. So welcome to Conversations with God Through You. I'm your host, again, Daunessy Shaitaire. If you are new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Please take the time, if you haven't already, to subscribe, like, comment, share this video. Go ahead and click share on all the other videos too. Why? Because we are growing, we are expanding, and I need you. I need your support in order to expand, in order to grow to the heights that we are growing to, and we are going to. And I can't do this without you. I've been unable to do this without you, and I'm grateful for being able to be on this journey with you. So let's get into the topic today. Why did I start feeling discouraged? Let me tell you something about the power of being connected to the wrong energy. And one of my biggest hurdles, one of my biggest lessons, one of the biggest journeys that I'm personally on right now is that I've been on for some years is a journey with people, and understanding my boundaries with people, and understanding how much to give of myself with people, and paying attention to how I change and who I become connected with people. I don't change too much, and I don't get thrown off my path too much, but the things that shift are subtle. The things that shift are small. Although I am rooted in who I am and rooted in what God has done in me, my flesh can still be swayed in small ways. To some people it may seem insignificant, but those small ways over time adds up to major rifts. So I started back reconnecting with somebody that I knew not to. Like the season had passed. And in doing that, the seeds of doubt, of fear, of old storylines begin to try to resurface. Now, although I can speak against them and I can do all of those things, my feelings started going a little bit all over the place. You know what I mean? And not in a crazy way, not in a way that I was willing to throw in the towel on everything, but in a way where I started to feel like an imposter in the journey that I'm on now. Because it's like, dang, if I can still have these emotions, I started to beat myself up. If I can still have these emotions, then I must not be. But the reality is the feelings are not the fall. It's the believing and then the identifying with them that becomes the fall, that I worked really hard to stay away from because of the season that I'm in. And because of the season I'm in, it made that part of it a whole lot easier, because I've already released so much that the understanding of when we hear things like trusting God, it is taking a new meaning for me. And what do I mean by that? I was so caught up in trying to protect myself, trying to find safety within me in ways that I had no control over. And in doing that, it was like I was telling God that he wasn't enough, that I could depend on myself and my own understanding and not have to convene with a higher source, or convene with a higher understanding in order to have my balance in the midst of whatever is going on around me. And I found that to be so profound, because it's like, wow, It's really a journey. And I know that I say that all the time. Y'all like, girl, we know that. You know that. You tell us that. But it's really a journey. And I think what I found most profound about it is the season that I'm in. Because there was a season where the conversation with myself would have been a whole lot worse. Where something would have came like that would have thrown me off a whole lot further, would have allowed me to go to a space of giving up. I would have deleted all of these videos. I would have deleted all my social media because it would have told me something about myself that wasn't true. That wasn't the truth. It wasn't me. It wasn't a situation that I felt the need to identify with, to the point of sacrificing the work I've already done. And I think we do that a lot in our journeys. We hit a bump in the road, or we hit a moment where we have to turn around, or we have to realign ourselves, and we beat ourselves up and feel like that we have to go all the way to point A in order to get back to where we were. But the reality is that is not the truth. And we have to start releasing that belief system that if we are tempted, if we are drawn away for a second, if a thought comes, if a feeling comes, if anything that is rooted in our humanity comes up, that automatically makes us a failure in the eyes of God, or in the eyes of our dreams, or in the eyes of our goal, or in the eyes of what we're doing. It does not make you a failure. It makes you in process, which we all are in. I am in process. I don't have a lot of things figured out, but I'm willing to show up every day and ask myself the bigger questions, and ask myself the hard questions, and have the hard conversations with God, and really evaluate where I stand, because I've allowed moments like that to put me in positions of feeling backwards when really I am always where I need to be. Hence my name, Aligned as Fuck, because you're never out of alignment with what God has for you. It's all about your perspective of it. See, I could have easily taken on that whole entire thing as my identity, and equated it to my worth, my value of self, when that is a battle that somebody else has to fight. That is an issue that somebody else has to deal with. The way that I show up is evident of who my character is, and the way that they're not showing up is evident of theirs. See, we often like to villainize ourselves in situations, not realizing that we are really standing further than we've ever been. See, at one point in time, I would have cussed this person out. Amen. But now I don't feel the need to defend myself. I don't feel the need to protect myself in a way that I have to be reactive to their actions, because what they do and how they move is not contingent upon who I am and what is inside of me. I'm enough. I may not be enough to them. I may not be enough for that situation, but I am enough. Whatever version of me that is created in that person's mind is not a reflection of my reality. And we often allow situations to be a reflection of our reality. Something failed, so I'm a failure. That didn't work out, so I'm unable to work it out. They couldn't love me, so I must be unlovable, when it is that person, that situation, their journey, their baggage, their damage. Take your cross and walk. I can admit my wrongs. I can thrive in my vulnerabilities of being able to open my mouth and say, yo, I don't have it figured out. I am still learning. I am still growing. I'm able to apologize. I'm okay with showing up in the process and asking questions and being questioned if I am moving wrong with you, or giving somebody else weird energies and weird vibes. I'm okay with these kinds of things, but I realize, and you have to realize, is that not everybody is going to be okay with the things that you are okay with. Not everybody is in the season to receive what you have to offer. We're not always in seasons to give things that people are requiring as an offering. And we can't villainize ourselves or villainize the other person in our stories because a situation didn't work out. We have to learn how to accept it for what it was, ask for growth in the areas in which we need to, and release it, so that we don't make it a thing in our lives. So we don't make it a moment in time that we're not necessarily able to get back from. So we don't identify so much with it that it becomes a part of our everyday existence. And now we're speaking it into existence and thinking it into existence and feeling it into existence. And now we're attracting more situations into our lives to hit this wound over and over again because we're unable to release it, because we're still harboring thoughts and feelings and questions and needing understandings for things that were never ours to understand to begin with. The questions that we have to start having can no longer be towards the other person, the other thing, the situation. It needs to be towards ourselves. And I'm so grateful to be here because I'm still in my humanity. I still feel that this particular situation was just a one-sided connection, just a connection that was lacking a lot of different things that was needed, but at the same time craving those things as well, but unable to show up for yourself enough to be able to show up in the connection enough. We have to start learning how to be aware of ourselves enough to separate when it's us versus when it's them versus when it's an outside energy. I talked about it in the video the other day, the 4 ways to create boundaries. I highly recommend that you check that out. I might pin it in the description box below because I really think that everybody needs to watch that, because being able to know those differences really matter. I understood in that situation that it wasn't me versus her. It wasn't her versus me. It should have been us versus this misunderstanding, this miscommunication, this moment in time that is causing this much on both sides. But what I realized was, and it's not to villainize another person, because it takes 2 to tango. Understand, we both put our energy into it. But what I realized is the things that I was finding issue with, this person is okay in existing in. And I had to learn to be okay with that. The things that I'm finding issue in, this person is okay existing in. And I cannot get mad at them for their truth. I cannot villainize them for their belief system. I cannot weaponize my belief system against them. I have to learn how to see what needs to be seen, hear what needs to be heard, take whatever I need to take from the situation and move on and move forward. And know that I'm good in my conscience because I know that I was pure in my intentions. I think a lot of the times when situations or connections go awry, one of the reasons why we can't let go is because we know that we weren't always pure in our intentions. We know that we weren't giving to that person because we wanted them to love, wanted them to feel love, or wanted to extend kindness, or wanted to be a positive force in them. It's because we wanted something in return. It's because we wanted them to love us back. It's because we were looking for their validation in return. And I don't need any of that from that person. Like, I realized that, like, I am who I am. The way that I showed up for them is how I will show up for anybody that I love like that in my life, and I do. So I can't be mad at them for being unable to accept who I am, and neither should I question who I am because they were unable to accept it. And neither should you. You should never find yourself questioning yourself for what you gave. And again, sometimes if we find ourselves questioning, it's because we were seeking something in return. You weren't loving that person because you wanted that person to be loved. You were loving that person because you wanted to be the one who loved them. You wanted to be the one who gave it. You wanted to be the one who showed up. You wanted to be the one who... You wanted to be all of the ones for people because you're unable to be the one for yourself. We need to know in what areas we're depleting ourselves and why we're doing it. Why do you want to be in that connection? And these are questions I had to ask myself in the midst of this whole entanglement. Is why do I want to be friends with this person? Why do I want this person to be friends with me? And I understood the things that God has shown me, the things that God had told me, but at the same time, why? And it wasn't me questioning what God showed me or what God told me. It's me questioning my ability to withstand their process. That's another thing. We have to get comfortable with understanding that everybody has their process. The season that she's in is not the season that I'm in. And it's not to say that I can't or I don't love her in her season. I do. It's just that I can't sacrifice where I am in order to hang around waiting for them to figure it out. And that's not just with friendships. That's not just with relationships. That's not just with familial connections. That's just not with jobs. That's with everything in life. And once we get comfortable with holding true to our own journeys like that, it makes releasing others' journey very much easier. Their path is not my responsibility. And I don't have to martyr myself to the connection to show them that I'm willing to be a part of the connection. Because again, in that retrospect, I'm moving out of an energy of feeling like I have to show up in a form of protection, in a form of defense, almost like I'm pleading my defense of being this kind of person, and wanting to understand and wanting to heal and wanting to grow, when all I have to do is stay true to who I am and in who God made me, and allow myself to grow and create the space for somebody else's growth. And sometimes that involves you moving away, letting it go, removing yourself, especially when you've tried, you've shown, you've attempted. Okay, the thing is showing you, the person is showing you, the situation is showing you. And it's not to say that they won't grow. It's not to say that the situation can't heal. It's just to say this is not the season. And we have to learn the seasons of things and be okay when the seasons switch. Every season has a different time, and every season looks differently. The way that it looked at one point in time is not necessarily how it's going to look at another point in time. And if you're willing to grow, it will change on its own. Now, the situation may not change with that person, but you will change in the situation for your better if you would allow it to make you better and not bitter. I could easily get mad. I could easily get upset. But I've been there, done that when the initial situation took place. At this point, I feel bad. Not for me, not even necessarily for the ending of the thing, but I feel bad for the pain that's in the person's heart. And I feel bad that because of the pain in the person's heart, that somebody else had to get hurt in the process. That's another reason why releasing things are so necessary, because we don't understand how easy it is to wound other people in our harboring of our pasts. And what I mean by our harboring of our past, it's not just the stories, it's not just the voices, it's the beliefs, it's the actions, it's in the way that we choose to show up in protecting ourselves, when really most of the time we're imprisoning ourselves in cycles and thinkings and ways of doing and energies that don't serve us. And instead of taking the journey of unpacking that, we rather hold on to it because we've known it for so long. Not understanding, not seeing, not willing to see how it isn't serving us, how it is destroying us. So we need to know ourselves enough to know how we are impacted, how we show up in situations, what our energy and our thought process do to other people. And I know I speak a lot about being selfish and staying true to yourself, and this is true. But the reason why you should want to do all of those things is so you can maneuver in the world better. I ask questions about myself, about situations, in friendships, in connections, all of the time, because I'm grateful for any and everything and anyone that God sends my way. And because I know that I am human, because I know that I'm somebody who has dealt with trauma, sometimes I have been unaware of my triggers. There have been seasons where I didn't even know that that would affect me in this kind of way. And then when I realized that this is what it was, it might have been too late, or the situation might have already been wounded. And it is in those moments that I realize I need to take more time and care on the relationship with myself, so that I don't impact people in a negative kind of way, so that what was doesn't infect what is or what is to come. And a lot of us aren't there in our journeys, but we really need to work hard on getting there. Work hard on becoming a better version of yourself, for yourself, yes, but for how it will impact another person. The other day I was in Walmart, and this guy was yelling morning, like real loud, like to everybody that he passed by, until he got to his register. And initially I judged him. Initially I looked, I was like, what? Why is you yelling? And then God had me look closer at him. He's limping. He only has one side of his body was like kind of like dangling, like it was numb. The way that his mouth was a little slanted, the way that his speech was, it was giving stroke victim. So in my quickness to judge, I didn't think about what this person may have been going through. And this is their attempt to connect, or this is their attempt to feel good, or this is their attempt to show appreciation for being alive. Whatever his story was, it did not matter. He said good morning. And instead of saying it back right away, my mind went straight to my flesh. And when God corrected me and showed me those things, I was finishing up my ring out, so I'm walking out, and I said, I hope you have a good day. He looked at me with the brightest eyes ever. And it is in those moments that you understand that how quickly your unawareness of self can impact another, but how quickly the situation can be turned around and a better seed can be sown. I don't know what that man was going through, but for whatever reason, after I said that to him and he looked in my eyes, my whole body just got super warm, and I just felt so good, like that little moment just made his whole day. You know what I mean? And it's not about what you can get out of it, but that type of impact is beautiful. To be able to see somebody and see the best of them, no matter the circumstance, is beautiful. And you don't see it in them just because, it's because you also have found the beauty within yourself. And I realize that in this moment now, and I want us to all start looking back at our past and seeing how much we have been us. And learn how to separate other people from who we are. I've always loved on my friends. I've always spoken life into them. I've always shown up for them. I've always been that kind of force for them. I didn't need them to be that person, because that's who God created me to be. And for a long time, I thought that I was that person because of the connections that I had. But I'm this person. And I know you're like, girl, you show up every week and you talk life into us. Of course you're this person. But sometimes the very things that we are, we don't believe about ourselves, especially when it's rooted in so much positivity. I don't not believe that I'm positive, or that I sow good seeds, or I have good intentions. I have allowed people that I've sown those seeds into that weren't necessarily reciprocative of it to skew my perception of myself, which is why the art of releasing is so important. So when the new levels and the new devils come, or when the temptation comes around, or when that thing tries to cycle back around to see if it still has a place, you're more aware of yourself in the midst of it. And even if you give space to it, you know that it's not going to hurt as much. It's not going to impact in the way that it once did. Actually, you're going to be joyful because, wow, you really don't care about it in the way that you once did, in the perspective you once had, in the feelings you once felt. And it doesn't mean that you don't love it any less, or it doesn't mean that you don't want it any less, or it doesn't mean that you don't think about it any less. It just means that it doesn't have the kind of power that it once had, because you realize that the power was in you all along. Start building a relationship with yourself to the point where you're able to ask yourself the questions. Grow with and outgrow the situation if needed, but so that you can set up your own and your better seeds to be able to interact with the next connection, the next opportunity, the next thing, the reactivation of the dream again, the reactivation of the faith again, in a better way, in a more positive way, in a more reinforced way, in a way that creates real space for the growth that you are seeking, for the healing that you are seeking. And never allow the actions of others to skew the sight of yourself, the ability of yourself, the worthiness of yourself, the value of yourself, because you are who you are and who God created you to be. You didn't need them to show you. You didn't need them to expose it. You just needed to grow through the situation that it brought about. You were already that. You were already the light. You were already the love. You were already the growth. You were already the healing. You were already the ambition. You were already the best. You were already worth it. You were already strong. You were already intelligent. You were already capable. You were already worthy. You were already passionate. You were already full of faith. You were already full of dreams. You are already everything that God created you to be. Release the story that the situation is your identity. Release the story that the disconnect is who you are. Release the belief that you needed them to validate who God created you to be. Release it. Release it and forgive yourself. Release it and forgive yourself for the moments that you allowed the stories to become your identity. Release it and forgive yourself for the moments that you allowed the opportunities to make your dreams feel smaller than it. Release yourself from the belief system that because you were tempted, or because you had the thought, or because you spoke the word, or because you fell back into old ways of doing for a moment, for a second, that you have to start all over, that everything that you sown before that was a fail, that you are a failure. Release the belief system. Release the belief system and forgive yourself. Forgive yourself and forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Daunessy, for the times that I allowed myself to believe the lies of the past, of the stories that I was unworthy. I'm sorry that I took it on as an identity and I allowed myself to maneuver in life as the very thing that hurt me. I'm sorry. I forgive you, Daunessy. I forgive you for the times that you allowed the lies to be your truths. I forgive me. I forgive you, Daunessy. Release and forgive yourself. And forgive yourself. because you are not what happened. You are not the breakup. You are not the disappointment. You are not the pain. You are not the hurt. You are not the trauma. You are not any of the things. Any of the things, any of the things, any of the things, any of the things, any of the things that have been designed to keep you separate from your destiny, that has been designed to keep you separate from your freedom, that has been designed to keep you separate from your breakthrough. You are not any of those things. You are not any of those things. Release it. Release it. And forgive yourself. I'm so grateful to have been in this atmosphere with you guys, to have been a part of this conversation with you guys, to have been able to be here with you guys today. My heart really be overjoyed in real life, and I am thankful for you. I'm thankful for the 215 of you that are here with us. I'm thankful for each comment, like, share. I'm thankful for the growth. I'm thankful for me showing up even when, in spite of, because of, in the midst of. I'm thankful. I'm thankful. I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful. I'm thankful. I'm thankful. And I release all the lies. And I release all the beliefs. And I release all the stories. And I release all old connections that don't serve my highest good. I release my enticing, I don't even know what the word is that I'm looking for. I release my temptation for it. I release the taste in my mouth for it. I release the taste in my, I release it. I release it. I release it. I release it. And I forgive myself. And I forgive myself. Amen. Because I'm worth it. I'm worth it. And so are you. Thank you for joining us. Comment, like, share, subscribe, especially. And I will see you guys, I don't know, maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday, maybe Thursday, definitely Friday, but you just never know. You never know. But I will see you guys soon for sure. Until then, be blessed. Blessings on your journey. And stay true to you. Always.